Hey there, it's Garrett Strong here, and in the next few minutes I'm going to reveal a shocking truth about learning to weld that the big expensive welding schools would do anything to keep you from knowing about. I'll teach you, as unbelievable as this sounds, how you can fabricate amazing things like hot rods, barbecue pits, trailers, motorcycles, gates, ornamental designs, furniture, and anything else you can imagine in your spare time. You can also make enough cash to have a side business, starting out with just a cheap welder and a few pieces of scrap steel. So just do what I say in this video and you'll discover just how a few minutes from now. And actually start making that much awaited welding project that you've been waiting to work on, without buying expensive tools, without having your own welding shop, without being an expert welder. You'll master the skill quicker than you think, and just by using an inexpensive MIG welder that you can get from your local Lowe's or Home Depot. If you've been thinking about learning to weld to make extra money on the side or just as a hobby, if you're tired of not taking that next step that could give you lots of joy and make you lots of money on the side, double guessing whether you have what it takes to learn how to weld, and not living the life that you dream of because you haven't taken that next step, then this video, which won't be up for long, is going to change your life forever. So who am I to make such a big promise? Well, my name is Garrett Strong, and you might already know me from my free instructional welding videos. Over the last several years, I've helped hundreds of people just like you start welding from home in their spare time, fabricating projects they're passionate about, and even making good money doing it. People like David B. from Atlanta, Georgia. David wrote me to say, I was looking for a resource online to teach me how to MIG weld the other evening, and I decided to look up how online. I purchased your video course, and I'm already making an awesome welding project. Or Sean Reynolds, who says, I tried to learn how to MIG weld on my own, but I just couldn't get it. Then I discovered your video course. I felt so confident that I could weld afterwards that I built my very first barbecue pit in my garage. I would highly recommend your course to anyone who wants to learn how to become an awesome welder. And those are just two of the dozens of emails that I get every day from people who've successfully learned how to weld, fabricate cool stuff, and make money doing it. Honestly, they're shocked, they're amazed, and maybe even a little angry when they discover how easy it is to learn how to weld as a hobby or make money at home welding, and without spending a lot of money to do it. There was a time when I had no experience with welding and metalworking. Ever since I had thought about welding as a hobby, I somehow always found myself making excuses as to why I couldn't learn to weld and fabricate cool stuff. I thought I couldn't afford the welding equipment, and I thought that you had to go to school to be able to weld stuff like a seasoned pro. I never even tried because my thoughts kept getting in the way. Then one day a miracle happened. I remember it like it was yesterday. I had thought about it enough, and I was dead tired of just thinking. I needed to do something before I made another excuse. I then discovered an amazing truth. I discovered something that the trade schools and the government would do anything to keep you from knowing about. I discovered that you can learn how to weld from home in as little as 1 hour with very little money. When most people hear that they can learn to weld in just 1 hour, they think it's a complete lie, but the truth is that the new welding machines being manufactured today are so easy to use and so inexpensive that your everyday average Joe can learn and afford to weld with zero experience. If you've thought about learning to weld and even making money doing it, but you haven't taken that next step, just know that it's not your fault. After all, it took me a while to convince myself that I have what it takes to learn how to weld, and the truth is that you can quickly and easily learn to weld from home in no time. If you're considering welding school, consider this. Welding school can cost upwards of $20,000 just to attend, and it'll usually take an average of about 2 years to complete. Most people don't have the time or the money to afford that, but the cost to learn how to weld at home can start at just $200. When I discovered this, I started feeling good about my life and my opportunities. For the first time in 5 years, I wasn't putting my life on the back burner, and I was finally doing something that I knew I would love, and that I could make money from if I chose to. So I took the leap and I bought a $200 MIG welder from Home Depot. Now this was a simple idea that allowed me to start welding from the comfort of my own home, that let me learn at my own pace, in my own environment, and not having to pay for expensive schooling that teaches the exact same thing. I was shocked to see just how many people are already welding from home, and after seeing all the cool stuff people are turning out with their inexpensive welders, I was sold. It turns out that anybody can do this, even you. And if you're looking to make big money with your welder, then keep this in mind. Multi-millions have been made by many people in the welding and fabrication industry, including owners of one of the most famous motorcycle shops in the world, Paul Tuttle and Paul Tuttle Jr. from the Discovery Channel show Orange County Choppers. If you do want to make a career out of welding, remember that learning a trade skill like welding could be one of the most important investments you ever make for yourself and your family. So I don't think there's ever been a better time to learn how to weld. I did, and it paid off big time. As soon as I learned to weld on my very first MIG welder, amazing things started to happen. Suddenly, I was able to make an awesome barbecue pit for cookouts, an amazing fire pit, an awesome table, and now I'm constantly showing off my completed projects to my friends, who are very envious, by the way. When I shared my methods with my friends, the results were amazing. I shared my welding secrets with a few friends of mine who were curious how in the hell I could go from being a complete beginner to fabricating cool projects in such a short time. I told them that anybody can do it. So I taught them what I had learned and all the secrets that allowed me to weld like a pro, and they couldn't believe they were actually welding. A few weeks later, they were texting me photos of their finished welding projects. A new bumper, a new trailer, a cooler rack. Time and time again, I've seen this work for people, and they can't believe that they can actually weld on their own. That's the good news. Now, here's the bad news. The bad news is that while I discovered how to weld like a pro and make money welding, you can't just start welding on your own and expect to make killer welds or killer projects. Just because you might be able to pull the trigger on a MIG gun and start a welding arc doesn't automatically make you a great welder. In fact, it actually makes you a dangerous welder because there are a host of things to learn before you actually join two pieces of metal. Learning metal fit up, fabrication techniques, metal cleaning, and a lot more will save you tons of time making mistakes on your own. After putting several YouTube videos up helping beginners learn how to weld, the response I got was nothing short of amazing. And those same people asked for more and more in-depth training on how to weld. So, in order to help as many people as I could learn how to weld, I created a system and I packed it all in a video course so I could spread the wealth as far as I can, and that I call the 90-minute MIG Mastery video course. The 90-minute MIG Mastery video course is a step-by-step instructional course containing everything I've discovered about welding and what the secret of welding like a pro is. The 90-minute MIG Mastery video course is broken down into 6 modules. In Module 1, I'm going to flat out show you my simple weld prep steps where you'll discover the basics of metal and where to get it, the tools you'll need to get started, it's not a lot, all about welding rods and wires, metal cleaning, weld preparation, and most importantly, safety. And I'll show you all of this without spending lots of money and without wasting time digging through books and trying to learn this stuff. In Module 1, you'll discover 6 things you must know about which metals to buy and where to buy them at the cheapest price. You'll discover what the best welding tools are, like magnets, clamps, scribes, soapstone, and a lot more, so you can weld with complete accuracy and success. You'll discover the 10 essential metalworking tools that you need so you can cut metal to length and finish metal projects with ease. And you'll discover what every beginner welder must know about the safety gear that you'll need when you start welding, like proper eye protection, what to look for in a welding helmet, and what acceptable welding clothes are. And that's only Module 1, designed to get you prepared to weld and start creating amazing welding projects that will shock your friends and family. So are you ready to start popping eyeballs out of people's heads? I mean it, your friends are going to drool with envy at your new skills. And then in Module 2, you're going to discover what gas metal arc welding is and how you can easily make beautiful and strong welds so you can rest assured that whatever you're welding will not only be strong, but will have beautiful welds as well. You'll also discover the #1 single most important gas mixture for MIG welding so you don't use the wrong gas resulting in weld porosity and weak welds. You'll discover my super secret little cooking spray trick to make sure you aren't constantly having to clean spatter from your welding gun. You'll quickly and easily discover which welding wire to use with your MIG welder and which size wire to use so you aren't struggling to get enough weld buildup for a sound weld. You'll learn how to set up your MIG welder for maximum weld control so you can easily weld anything without worrying about cold welds or not getting enough weld fusion. You'll learn how to create expert welds by setting your voltage and wire speed correctly. You'll learn the secret to avoid getting ripped off when buying welding gas. And that's just a small taste of what's in store for you. You're not getting a 45-minute lame-ass DVD. You're getting a master's degree in do-it-yourself MIG welding from home. I'm talking over 3 hours of well-organized, kick-ass training videos. Okay, so if that wasn't enough, I'm really just getting started. In Module 3, I'm going to deliver some awesomely cool stuff. I'm going to show you all about the weld puddle and controlling the weld. And you'll get some close-up video footage of me running a weld bead so you can see exactly how fast your gun travel should be and how slow to move so you get maximum weld penetration. You'll discover the secret to heat control so you can get strong, deep penetrating welds. You'll discover my secret cursive E motion to fill gaps when welding so your welds get good deep penetration. I'll show you how to sequence your tack welds so you don't have to worry about metal warpage. You'll discover the truth about how far to keep your weld nozzle from the workpiece so you get good hot starts in your welds. You'll discover what every beginner must know about travel direction and where to aim the electrode so you get a good hot weld. I'll put an end to the push versus pull debate and show you who's really correct when it comes to weld travel. You'll discover the correct voltage settings for your machine, and I'll give you my free tracking chart so you have an immediate reminder of what voltage to use for which metal thickness. You'll discover how to make sure you properly fit up the metal before welding and why it could potentially cost you thousands of dollars if you don't. You'll discover what I call the heat curse and how to avoid cold welds that rob your weld strength. You'll discover the 3 reasons why beginner welders struggle to get good weld penetration, resulting in poor welds. You'll learn the secret to why weld preparation is just as important as running a good weld bead, and I'll show you how to properly clean the workpiece for maximum weld strength and appearance. And there's much more. Who wants to spend an arm and a leg just to get started? Not me. Most people who just buy a MIG welder don't have a gas cylinder, but don't let that concern you because you don't need one to start out. Module 4 is all about learning to weld without using gas, and the process is known as flux core arc welding. In Module 4 you'll discover why flux core is the best outside welding process to use so you can weld anything outdoors and not have to worry about shielding gas. Welding without gas requires you to change your welder's polarity, which is very easy to do. You'll discover how to change your welding machine's polarity so you can create strong welds with no porosity. Discover which flux core wire to buy that can be used in all the welding positions. Discover the secret to flux core wire sizes and how to avoid picking the wrong size so you can create welds with the right amount of buildup. And there's more, lots more. When all is said and done, you will make jaw-dropping projects that even the pros will envy. If you just learn one welding position and call it a day, you're going to miss the boat big time. Plus, you'll dramatically reduce the likelihood that you'll make a good weld the first time you have to weld something uphill or overhead. You're going to find that once you start that first project, you will use all of the welding positions. You're likely going to weld horizontal, vertical, flat, and overhead before it's all said and done. And in order to do that, you need to practice in all these positions. In Module 5, you'll discover the trick to welding positions, including welding in the flat position, the vertical position, horizontal position, and overhead, so you can be prepared to make awesome welds on any project. You'll discover my quick and easy weaving technique for welding downhill. You'll discover the 3 things you need to keep in mind when welding uphill or downhill so you can make deep penetrating welds on projects where safety is key. You'll learn an easy cure to keep the weld puddle from sagging when welding in the horizontal position. You'll learn the truth about welding overhead and how to keep the weld puddle from dripping. And it doesn't stop there. If you want to weld like a pro, you've got to learn a few simple tricks. In Module 6, you'll discover what every beginner must know about welding joints, including T-joints, butt joints, lap joints, and corner joints. You'll learn the correct way to weld thick steel joints and how to bevel the workpiece to ensure it's as strong as possible. You'll discover my secret horseshoe technique when welding T-joints so you can prevent the weld puddle from falling down and causing weak welds. You'll learn an easy 3-step process for welding multiple passes on a weld joint so your joints get full penetration. You'll learn my little-known U-motion technique when welding a lap joint so you don't melt away the corner of the workpiece, which will result in a much nicer looking weld. And there really is much more than I have time to list out here. It's really amazing and heartening to me to hear the stories of people just like you who've purchased this course and have gotten amazing results. And when you gain instant access to the video course, you'll benefit from years of trial and error welding just like hundreds have already done before you. You will make awesome welding projects. You will learn a skill that's highly sought after, and you will finally know what it's like to weld like a pro. If you're anything like the hundreds of others who've benefited from the 90-minute MIG Mastery video course, you're interested in learning a skill that can bring you tons of pleasure and make you lots of money if you choose. Which is why, as my special gift to you today, I want to give you 4 astonishing bonuses that have changed my life. Bonus number 1 is my Cutting and Grinding Mastery video, and it's a $17 value. In this bonus video, I'll show you how to use angle grinders, cut-off wheels, bandsaws, and a cutting torch so you can cut metal to length, grind metal for a smooth finish, and make sure your project is awesome. Bonus number 2 is my work table project. Now this is a $27 value. This is a step-by-step walkthrough video showing you how to build an awesome work table so you can have workspace to mount a vise, a drill press, bench grinder, or anything you need it for. And bonus number 3 is my welding cart project. This is a $27 value. A welding cart is an absolute must-have when you begin welding because you need to mobilize yourself when you're starting a welding project. This video will show you in detail how to build your first welding cart right down to the dimensions you need to use, how to cut the angle iron, how to frame up the cart so it's square, and how to attach the wheels, and a lot more. And then bonus number 4 is my welding jig video. Welding jigs are one of the most useful tools to make when you start welding. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use a welding jig to bend metal into awesome shapes that you can use for your projects. Okay, so how do you get started? How much for the 90-minute MIG Mastery course, plus the cutting mastery bonus, the work table walkthrough bonus, the welding cart project bonus, and the welding jig video? A $70 value all by themselves. Honestly, this is the only program like it in existence, so there's nothing to compare it to. So let's just think about the alternatives that you could try. You could try attending a welding school that costs $20,000 to gain access to the same knowledge I'm teaching right here. That would rob you of your savings, put you way into debt, and cause you to quit your full-time job just to attend. Trying to learn on your own might seem like a better option, but you'll likely spend money on stuff you don't even need to get started, and you'll be beating your head against the wall trying to learn the secrets to good welds. Not to mention the many safety hazards of trying to weld if you don't know what you're doing. Let me ask you this. Years from now, when you're looking back, how are you going to feel if you could have learned a skill that will bring you years of enjoyment and give you an opportunity to make good money, but you didn't choose to learn the simple skill of welding? How are you going to feel if you could have learned a skill like welding that could give you enjoyment and money at the same time? How would you feel if you had more fun in your life, been more fulfilled and happier because you're doing what you love and making money doing it? And what if you could have done it just by making a small investment to get started? Something that wouldn't even be a drop in the bucket for you. How much would you pay to be able to really learn how to weld, to be able to design and create projects from the ground up, to possibly work for yourself, to be able to look at something that you made and say, I made that? The regular price of the 90-minute MIG Mastery video course with all 4 amazing bonuses is just $97. This is far less than paying somebody one-on-one to teach you. This is far less than the mistakes made by learning to weld on your own, and it's a lot less than the $20,000 that some welding schools cost. But if you act now while this page is up, you can have the full program for just $47 today. And all you have to do to get started is click the big Add to Cart button below. If you've watched this far, you can probably already feel how this could change your life in the best way possible. And I bet you can already imagine what it's going to feel like to wake up in the morning and know that you're doing something that you love without spending a lot of money to do it. All you have to do to learn the secrets to weld like a pro is click the Add to Cart button, and you'll gain instant access to the 90-minute MIG Mastery video course, plus the Cutting Mastery bonus, the Work Table Walkthrough bonus, the Welding Cart bonus, and the Welding Jig video. If I don't get you results, I don't deserve your money. Honestly, the way this is set up, you could totally rip me off. You could buy the product today and get great results with it and ask for your money back, and you would get your money back. And I'm not really afraid of that, because I think when you see the results you're going to get with the 90-minute MIG Mastery video course, you're going to be so blown away because the tiny amount I'm asking you to invest today is nothing, and you're going to have no problem paying it. And of course, you're covered by my rock solid, no questions asked, 60-day money-back guarantee. Here's how it works. All you have to do is try the 90-minute MIG Mastery video course today, take your time, and go through step-by-step the 90-minute MIG Mastery program that's helped hundreds of people in the past to start welding and produce a second income or a new career faster than they ever thought possible while making the smallest investment possible. If at any time in the next 60 days you don't believe deep in your heart that this is worth way more than the $47 that I ask you to pay today, simply write an email to me or my help desk and we'll give you a prompt and courteous refund. Personally, the way I was raised, I don't think I deserve your money unless I get you incredible results. That's the way I do business and the way I want people to do business with me. And so I personally guarantee that if you aren't 200% satisfied, I'll give you your money back, no questions asked, and we'll part as friends. All you have to do to get started is click the big Add to Cart button below. You'll gain instant access to the 90-minute MIG Mastery program. You'll be able to log in instantly, plus access all of the bonuses, and you'll be well on your way to welding like a pro, just like so many others who bought the program before you. But you really do have to act now. As I said, the regular price of the 90-minute MIG Mastery program is $97, and I'm going to drop it to $47 today. Now that's a 50% discount. That's an amazing price when compared to the $20,000 that some welding schools charge for the same information. I'm really just testing it out at this price. I want to see what happens while it's at this price, and you can take advantage of me while I'm doing that. Getting instant access is really cheap right now, and it's probably going back to $97 or maybe even higher, but you can get it for $47 right now today. I really care about my customers and helping beginners discover how to weld, and that's why I'm going to give you this incredible no-brainer offer, but I'm going to have to raise the price soon for a couple of different reasons. One is that I simply can't keep it this low because of the cost of my advertising. The other is friends are kind of getting on my back and they're saying, Garrett, by offering this so cheaply, you're devaluing it. And if you really want to help people, you need to raise the price, because right now with it so cheap, people are going to look at this and think to themselves, it can't really be that good for such a low price. But that's why I'm going to have to raise the price to sell more copies of it. So this seems like something people can really get that's going to give them the results that they really want. Just $47 to learn how to start MIG welding just sounds unbelievable to me compared to the benefits that you're going to get. Now I'm going to raise the price to $97 or possibly $197 soon, but for you right now today it's $47. And all you have to do to get started is click the big add to cart button that you see below. You'll be granted instant access to the 90-minute MIG Mastery program and all of the bonuses that will teach you how to weld like an expert in no time flat. I'm Garrett Strong, and it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. I'll see you in the members area.